Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Life Saving Podcast. Today, we're diving into a very important topic, what to do when you need to make an emergency call. Whether you're at home, in the car, or somewhere unexpected, knowing how to act can make all the difference. So stay with us as we share essential tips and information that could help save lives. We have a role play, Alex, a person who had a recent experience with emergency calls, and I, Jamie, a friend curious about how emergency calls work and how to handle them.
Absolutely, Jamie. Okay, let's start.
Hey, Alex, I've been thinking about emergency situations lately. Do you know what exactly happens when someone makes an emergency call?
Yeah, I do have some idea. It's pretty intense how quickly everything kicks in when you dial that number.
Right. I've always wondered what goes through your mind when you're making an emergency call. Like, do you get nervous?
Absolutely. The moment I dial the number, my heart races. You have to focus on giving all the necessary information clearly. Even though it's stressful, staying calm is key.
That makes sense. So, what should you do first when you make an emergency call? Do you just start talking?
Not exactly. The first thing is to make sure you are in a safe place, if you can. Then, dial the number and wait for the dispatcher to answer. It's important to speak slowly and clearly. They'll ask you questions, so listen carefully.
What kind of questions do they ask? Are they hard questions?
They usually ask about your location, what happened, how serious the situation is, and if anyone is injured. Sometimes they ask for your name and phone number too. It helps them send the right help quickly.
How important is it to give your exact location? I mean, what if you're in an unfamiliar place?
It's extremely important. Giving a clear address or nearby landmarks helps responders find you faster. If you're in an unfamiliar place, try to give a detailed description or anything that can help you locate.
What if the person on the other end isn't very calming or seems rushed? How should you handle that?
Good question. It can be intimidating if the dispatcher sounds stressed. Just remember, they are trained to handle emergencies and will guide you through. Stay as calm as possible and listen carefully to their instructions.
Do you think it's a good idea to prepare what you're going to say before calling?
Definitely. If you can take a moment to think and organize your thoughts, it will make your call clearer. But if it's an urgent situation, just focus on giving the essential information.
What about if someone is unconscious or unable to speak? How do you handle that?
When someone is unconscious, it's still important to call emergency services. You should try to check if they are breathing or if there's any bleeding. If they are not breathing and you are trained, you might need to start CPR after calling. Sometimes dispatchers can guide you through it over the phone.
Wow, that's heavy. How do you stay calm enough to do all that?
It's tough, but focusing on breathing helps. Taking slow, deep breaths can keep your nerves in check. Remember, help is on the way, and your actions can save lives.
Do emergency calls always go to the same number in every country?
No, they vary. For example, in the US, it's 911. In Europe, many countries have 112. In some places, there are different numbers for police, fire, and medical emergencies. It's good to know the emergency number for the country you're in.
What if someone calls emergency in a different country? Are they connected easily?
Usually, yes. Emergency numbers are generally standardized in each country, and mobile phones automatically connect to the local emergency services, no matter where you are. But it's always better to know the local number if you're traveling.
What are common mistakes people make when making emergency calls?
Some common mistakes include not giving the exact location, panicking and talking too fast, giving too much unnecessary information, or hanging up too soon. Also, sometimes people try to call multiple numbers at once, which can delay help.
That's helpful. What's the best way to stay prepared for emergencies?
Knowing the local emergency numbers, practicing how to report emergencies, and keeping important contact information handy. Also, learning basic first aid and CPR can be really useful.
Do you think it's necessary for kids to learn how to make emergency calls?
Absolutely. Teaching children how to call emergency services and what information to give can prepare them for emergencies. It can make a big difference in critical situations.
How long do you think the whole process takes once you make that call?
It depends on the situation, but ideally, from the moment you dial until help arrives, it can be just a few minutes. Dispatchers work extremely fast, and emergency responders aim to arrive as quickly as humanly possible.
That's pretty reassuring. Do you think technology helps speed things up, like GPS or apps?
Definitely. Mobile phones with GPS allow dispatchers to locate you more precisely, even if you can't give a good description. There are also apps in some areas that can send your location automatically when you call emergency services.
That's amazing. So if someone's in a car accident and can't speak, the GPS can tell rescue teams exactly where they are?
Exactly. That's why it's important to keep your phone charged and accessible. The technology can bridge many gaps in communication, especially when someone is unable to speak or if you're in a remote area.
Speaking of remote areas, what should someone do if they're in a place without cell service?
That's tricky. In such cases, if you only have Wi-Fi, some emergency services can be contacted through apps or internet-based services. Otherwise, if possible, go to a place with service. Always let someone know your location if you're going somewhere remote.
What about during natural disasters, like earthquakes or hurricanes? Do the emergency call procedures change?
The basic principles stay the same: call for help, give your location, describe the emergency. But during major disasters, lines can be overwhelmed, so authorities may have specific instructions or alternative reporting methods. It's good to stay informed about emergency plans specific to your area.
Are there any legal or safety precautions you should consider before making an emergency call?
Yes, always be truthful and accurate. Giving false information can divert resources from real emergencies. Also, don't hang up until the dispatcher tells you it's okay. And never misuse emergency services. You could be charged with a crime if you do.
That makes sense. Have you ever had to make an emergency call yourself?
Yes, a few years ago I saw a bicycle accident. I called emergency services immediately. I tried to stay calm, answered their questions, and then waited at the scene until help arrived. It was nerve-wracking, but I'm glad I could help.
That's brave of you. Did the dispatcher give you any instructions during the call?
Yes, they guided me on how to provide first aid to the injured cyclist and kept me calm until the paramedics arrived. Their instructions were very helpful.
That's really good to know. It shows how training can make a big difference in emergencies.
Absolutely. Taking a basic first aid course can help you feel more prepared and confident when faced with emergencies.
Do you think we should all practice emergency scenarios, like in schools or workplaces?
Yes, I think simulations or drills are very useful. They help people understand what to do, reduce panic, and improve response times. It's better to be prepared than to panic helplessly.
Do you have any tips for people who might faint or freeze when witnessing an emergency?
It's normal to feel overwhelmed. Try to focus on your breathing. Remember your training or instructions, like calling the emergency services first, then providing help. Even just calling the emergency number is a vital step.
What if someone refuses help or doesn't want to be assisted? Should you still call emergency services?
Yes. If someone is injured or in danger, it's important to call. But if they refuse help, you can still inform emergency services about the situation. They can assess and decide the best course of action.
Do you think bystanders should ever try to move injured people?
Only if there's an immediate danger, like fire or collapsing structures. Moving someone without proper training can sometimes cause further injuries. It's best to wait for professionals unless it's absolutely necessary.
That's a good point. How about after the emergency? Should you do anything else?
After help arrives, you can provide your statement if needed and stay at the scene if required. If you're involved, seek medical attention if necessary. And it's okay to feel shaken. Talk to someone if you need to process the experience.
Thanks, Alex. This really opened my eyes about the importance of emergency calls and prepared me a lot more.
Glad to hear that. Remember, knowing what to do can make a big difference in real emergencies. It's always better to be prepared than caught off guard.
Do you think that emergency services are adequately trained to handle all kinds of emergencies?
Generally, yes. They receive extensive training to handle various situations: medical emergencies, fires, crimes, disasters. But sometimes resources are stretched thin, especially during major crises, so public cooperation becomes even more important.
That makes sense. Do you think there's any way to improve how emergency calls are handled?
Absolutely. Advances in technology help a lot, like better GPS tracking, real-time translation services, and AI assist systems that can prioritize calls. Also, public education campaigns about how to report emergencies effectively can make a big difference.
Yeah, I remember reading about some new apps that can automatically detect crashes or falls and alert emergency services.
Exactly. Those innovations can save crucial seconds, especially for vulnerable populations like the elderly. The more we integrate smart technology, the more efficient the response can be.
Do you think everyone should have some basic training in emergency response?
Definitely. Basic first aid, CPR, and how to make an emergency call are vital skills. Knowing what to do in those critical moments can vastly improve outcomes.
Do you have any common misconceptions people have about emergency calls?
One big misconception is that they aren't important or that someone else will handle it. But if everyone thinks that way, emergencies can be unreported. Also, some think it's okay to fake an emergency, which is harmful and can divert resources from real crises.
Yeah, I can see how faking can be dangerous. What about emergencies that happen in large crowds, like at concerts or sports events? How do emergency calls work there?
In crowded places, emergency services usually have specific protocols. Many venues have designated staff trained to assist and communicate with emergency teams. When calling, try to give precise location details and describe the crowd situation to help responders navigate quickly.
Do you think social media plays any role in emergencies now?
Definitely. People often post videos or reports that can alert authorities or help locate someone in need. But social media also needs to be used responsibly. Avoid spreading false information or causing panic.
That's true. Sometimes social media can spread misinformation. How can we tell if a report from social media is trustworthy during an emergency?
Look for verified accounts and official sources. Cross-check information with emergency agencies or news outlets. It's important not to rely solely on unverified posts.
Have you ever thought about what you'd do if someone nearby needed emergency help but refused it?
Yeah, it can be tricky. You should still report it to emergency services. They are trained to handle refusal cases. They might advise on what to do or intervene if necessary.
So it's always better to at least inform professionals, even if the person doesn't want help?
Correct. Sometimes people refuse help out of fear or denial, but professionals can assess the situation and act accordingly.
Do you think there's any risk in calling emergency services for non-urgent matters?
Absolutely. Emergency lines are meant for urgent situations. Misuse can delay response times for real emergencies and even lead to fines or legal trouble.
So what are some examples of non-urgent calls that shouldn't be made to emergency services?
Things like minor disputes, lost pets, or medical questions that aren't life-threatening. For those, there are usually non-emergency numbers or local services.
Got it. Overall, what do you think is the biggest lesson about emergency calls?
That being prepared, staying calm, and giving clear, accurate information can make a huge difference. Every second counts, so knowing how to report an emergency properly can truly save lives.
Thanks, Alex. I really learned a lot today. It's making me think differently about how I'd handle an emergency.
No problem, Jamie. It's always good to be prepared. Remember, in any emergency, staying calm, acting quickly, and providing accurate information are the most important things.
I'll definitely review some safety tips and maybe even sign up for a first aid course soon.
That's a great idea. Knowing basic first aid and CPR can help you assist someone until professional help arrives. Plus, it boosts your confidence in stressful situations.
Yeah, and I'll make sure I memorize some emergency numbers and keep my phone charged and accessible.
Perfect. And don't forget to share what you've learned with your family and friends. The more people who know how to handle emergencies, the safer everyone will be.
Absolutely. Everyone should know what to do in that crucial first moment.
Totally agree. And remember, sometimes just calling for help is the most important thing you can do. Don't hesitate if you see someone in trouble.
Thanks for everything, Alex. This conversation really opened my eyes.
Anytime, Jamie. Stay safe out there, and don't forget, every second really does count.
Will do. And I hope I never have to make an emergency call, but if I do, I'll be ready.
That's the spirit. Take care.
You too.